From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
Big news to start your new morning as the president issues a breaking news statement about what day you're going to receive your $1,400 third stimulus check in your bank account and also in your mailbox. This is incredible, great news, and it cuts processing times shorter than we ever thought. I'll have the breaking news statement and the video for you minutes ago. Meantime, also heating up is the FOMC meeting. The Federal Reserve meets today and tomorrow. And tomorrow it will issue its notes. Those notes are critical to determine where stimulus is going. Why? Because the Federal Reserve will address numbers that came out this morning. The numbers that were released this morning were bad retail sales for the month of February, meaning that stimulus checks which landed in January did not impact this economy into February. I'll have all those details as well. Elsewhere, a new report asks Americans what is their biggest economic fear going forward, and they say it's not COVID, but inflation. This is amid new questions of whether President Biden is going Jimmy Carter's path or the correct path to getting this economy going. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. Mornings LALATE gets right underway right now. Only thing missing is some stimulus checks and a lot of bacon. This is a great new day of Mornings LALATE. $1,400 third stimulus checks started to land in bank accounts on Friday. More landed on Saturday. And more $1,400 third stimulus checks landed on Monday. But when is your stimulus check going to land? I have the breaking details. And good morning. How are you? The toast is toasting. The butter is buttering. I'm here. You're here. And a new statement and a new video released by the White House minutes ago, which you will see on this channel in the next few minutes, reveals shockingly great news about when you're receiving your $1,400 third stimulus check. Wow, this is the type of great news that we all needed to start the new day with. So thank you for joining me. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. You don't want to miss a minute of recordings on this channel. And thank you for tuning in to Early Mornings LALATE with not one, but two shows back into the programming schedule this morning. If you did not catch them, they're now archived. Also, thank you for joining me last night for Evenings LALATE. It's back on this channel every night. And last night's show was the most watched Evenings LALATE show ever on this channel. So thank you for tuning in. Let me get to the other details. Also, if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. The link is at the top of the chat and the bottom of the chat. Your $1,400 third stimulus check was sent out on Friday by Treasury for electronic deposit. But some viewers got it on Friday, some viewers got it on Saturday, and some viewers got it on Monday. You may not have gotten it. By the end of Monday, the following viewers had not received their $1,400 third stimulus check. Viewers who received their monthly benefits on Direct Express cards. That includes people on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits who receive their monthly deposits on a Direct Express card. Viewers who have received the $14 stimulus check are viewers who use Cash App, Chime, H&R Block Emerald Card, and similar. Other viewers were told by their bank that a March 17th date is the date to watch for their stimulus check. But get ready, because I have really incredible great news. Viewers of this channel are very sophisticated, and yesterday they watched a video from the President of the United States on this channel. And in that video, the President says in the next 10 days, two things will happen. He starts the sentence by saying, in the next 10 days, we'll reach 100 million doses. And then he says, and pauses and says, 100 days from now, you'll receive your stimulus check. This was yesterday. Let's watch how the president had phrased that during yesterday's press conference.
I said help is on the way. This week, I can report this isn't just on the way, it's here, sooner than many ever thought possible. Over the next 10 days, we'll reach two goals, two giant goals. The first is 100 million shots in people's arms will have been completed within the next 10 days, and 100 million checks in people's pockets in the next 100 days. Shots in arms and money in pockets. That's important. The American Rescue...
See, there you saw where the president seemed to tee up the word, we're going to pay 100 million checks in 10 days, but instead said in 100 days, we're going to pay those checks. That caused a lot of viewers a lot of confusion, asking me quickly, did the president mean we're getting stimulus checks in 100 days, or did he misspeak? Well, the good news is that the president minutes ago issued a new video, seemingly as a result of perhaps viewers of this channel watching his statements before. The new statement from the president now suggests that it's 10 days. Listen carefully to the president's new message released today about when you're getting direct deposit of a stimulus check.
We're going to reach two goals in the next 10 days. 100 million shots in people's arms. 100 million shots. And 100 million checks of $1,400 or more in people's pockets within the next 10 days. We're on the way. Help is on the way.
This is incredible great news because the president clearly had someone get to him and say you had misspoken in yesterday's video, suggesting to the Americans they would have to wait 100 days for a stimulus check. Now, why is this absolutely huge news, the president's statements right to this morning, just minutes ago, is because he's saying everyone, including paper checks, debit cards, Direct Express, and electronic receipt will all get their stimulus checks in 10 days. This is absolutely incredible, great, unexpected, huge news. Let me explain what's going on. In the second stimulus package, electronic disbursements went first. In this stimulus package, electronic disbursements went first. In the second stimulus package, anything that failed electronic disbursement had to go with the paper checks, actually after the paper checks. And in the second stimulus package, the paper checks took upwards of 3 weeks after it became law to land in people's bank accounts. The president's statement minutes ago, for the first time ever, says that all third stimulus checks will land in 10 days from last Thursday, 10 days from when it became law. This is huge. This means if you're waiting for a direct deposit, Direct Express card, paper check, or debit card, you're getting your stimulus check within 10 days of last Thursday. Now, before I start to hear the comments, because I know I'm going to hear them, direct deposit viewers are getting your stimulus checks already. They already got them on Friday last week. They got them on Saturday. They got them yesterday, and the rest of you will get your direct deposit stimulus checks this week. But this is why this video specifically is hugely great news, because there's always a problem with a particular situation. Let's say a missing stimulus check, or let's say a bank account that's closed that you couldn't update, or let's say a paper check. He's saying, don't worry, because no matter what your situation is, you'll definitely have your stimulus check within 10 days of when it became law. This is huge, great news because it's, in essence, half the time of the last stimulus check. I'll have more about that in a second, but let me cut to the other breaking news from Wall Street minutes ago. And the breaking news from Wall Street is that there's an FOMC meeting today and tomorrow. What is FOMC and what does it mean with you? It means everything. The FOMC meeting is by the Federal Reserve, and it's Chair Jerome Powell right here. The FOMC meeting starts today and ends tomorrow, and at the end of tomorrow, we will see whether the Federal Reserve will continue to provide stimulus to this economy. It's providing stimulus to this economy is an impact of whether the White House wants future stimulus. And here is what's going on. During the pandemic, the Federal Reserve provided three types of stimulus. The first was buying mortgages. The second was buying bonds. And the third was not raising interest rates. If the Federal Reserve stops supporting the economy with stimulus, that may signal that the White House may stop doing the same. Here is why those news statements, or called the FOMC notes, released tomorrow afternoon, are so important. Because if the Federal Reserve stops all support of this economy, which it's not expected to do, then the White House may stop stimulus as well. Well, most of the analysts, nearly every single analyst, says that the FOMC notes tomorrow will say that the Federal Reserve will stop buying bonds and stop buying mortgages, but will not touch interest rates, which is absolutely great news for forced stimulus, which, as you know, at the moment is reoccurring stimulus checks for at least 6 months and presumably $2,000, which would be about $12,000 to $18,000 for all viewers of this channel who make less than $75,000. The analysts in advance of those FOMC notes tomorrow say that the Federal Reserve will likely not touch interest rates until the start of next year or even the end of next year. This is all great news. Also, this may also help you as great news going in the new morning, that the Treasury yields are falling today, and the Federal Reserve may be concerned about this economy because new numbers from the Commerce Department this morning. The Commerce Department released new numbers and showed February retail sales were expected to come in at a 0.4% increase, but came in at a 3% fall. This is not good. Why did February sales fall in the retail economy? It's because the $600 second stimulus check landed in January. People got it. People spent it. And by February, there was nothing left to spend of the $600 stimulus check. January retail sales were up, higher than expected. As Walmart and Target CEO said, people use the $600 stimulus check to buy soap, detergent, consumer staples. But after they used it, there was no more money to use. And that's why February retail sales were not supported by the second stimulus check. You had already spent it. This means we will see in March how the March retail sales are impacted by the $14 stimulus check. If people spend it in March and there is a drop again in April of retail sales, that would mean this president needs to do reoccurring stimulus checks. Remember, Democrats from both the House and the Senate say that your attempt to send out one stimulus check is good, but it ain't going to carry anything. And this is evidence of what a check by itself does. It helps for the month of January when you get it, but by the month of February, you spent it and you need another check. A drop of retail sales is not a good indicator. I'll have more about that in a second. But first, let me cut back to the other details across the board. There's a lot of other items happening, and I'll have more about that in a second. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. It's a big morning, and if you're just joining me, the breaking news is absolutely incredible. The President of the United States has confirmed that all stimulus checks have already been sent out to Americans, and that everyone will receive your stimulus check by paper check, by direct deposit, by direct express, by debit card within 10 days of when it became law, which was last Thursday. This is the first time we're hearing this from the president. The president said in a videotape message shown earlier in this video that help is on the way and that within 10 days of when this became law, every American will have received their stimulus check. This is the first time we're hearing this, and this is faster than we had ever heard before. Understand that millions of viewers got their stimulus checks on Friday, Saturday, and Monday. More will receive them, and the direct deposit stimulus checks, including direct express stimulus checks, will happen between now and this week. But the incredible great news is that if you are a person looking for a missing item, or you're waiting for a paper check, or waiting for a debit card stimulus check, you're getting it within 10 days of last Thursday. Meantime, this is something breaking last night, and I went over it a little bit. I want to go over it right now. This is a major development which you don't want to miss, and I want to show it to you. But first, make sure you subscribe. I don't want you to miss a single moment of anything on this channel, and the amount of information I'm about to show you in the second half of this video gets really big. So make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. It really helps in the algorithm ranking when you hit that like. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Member links at the top of the chat and also the bottom of the chat. There's 2 more shows coming up on Mornings LA right after this as well, so don't miss those across the board. This is a breaking statement issued by IRS, and this is the first time that we've ever gotten this clarity. This is huge. This is basically the following statement from IRS. I'm going to read it to you because you may not be able to read it on screen. IRS is now telling Americans that if you are worried about not receiving the $3,600 for the child, $3,000 for the other child, or missing a stimulus check for a child, or the child care tax credit, or you're worried about not getting a tax benefit of the first $10,200 of your unemployment from 2020, or anything like that, do not file an amended tax return. This is huge. Over the last few weeks, viewers have asked me, how do I get that $10,200 fixed for my 2020 unemployment? They have asked, what do I do if IRS doesn't know my child exists and I want that $3,600 for that child? They have asked, what do I do if I want that earned income tax credit of $1,500 for hazard pay, or I want that child care tax credit? IRS now says, do not do an amended tax return. Rather, IRS is set to issue additional guidelines in the next few days. IRS strongly urges taxpayers to not file amended returns related to the new legislative provisions or take other necessary steps at this time. This is huge news. Also huge news is Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren yesterday met with the White House, and in meeting with the White House, she expressed her concern that student loan debt forgiveness needs to be done. If you don't recall, student loan debt forgiveness is a standalone bill in the Senate. It still remains in the Senate. It's $50,000. President says he won't do it. President says he wants $10,000. Moreover, Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer says it needs to be done by executive order, not by an actual bill in the Senate. Yesterday, she met with the president and issued a series of statements explaining why it needs to be done by executive order. Here is a recent video from Elizabeth Warren explaining why it needs to go by executive order.
The consequence of student loan debt means there are lots of people who aren't moving out from their parents' homes, lots of people who aren't buying their own homes, and one of the other things the data shows, lots of people who are not starting their own businesses. And all of those things hold back our economy. And I make that point because I'm sure there are lots of folks who are on this call tonight who don't have student loan debt. But here's the deal. Even if you don't have student loan debt, you will be helped by seeing student loan debt canceled because it will help our economy. This is one of those things that doesn't have to go through Congress. The authority is already there in law for the president and his team, the administration, the Secretary of Education, to cancel out this student loan debt. And President Obama used it to cancel some student loan debt. President Trump used it to cancel some student loan debt. I want to see President Biden use it. If he would cancel $50,000 in student loan debt, it would make an enormous difference in the lives of tens of millions of Americans and help build our entire nation a stronger future going forward. So, as you know, I'm all in on this one, and if we could persuade the president, we could do this one fast.
And there you go. That was her message again yesterday when she met with the President of the United States. During the commercial break, people asked me about that massive new advisory from IRS, which I just went over. If you're a member to this channel, that advisory was in the new links sent out, in the new PDFs sent out for members. This page, which is on irs.gov, is the new advisory, advising about if you want to fix things by amended returns, not to do it. I'll have more coverage of this throughout the day. But let me go back to your $1,400 third stimulus check. What we knew going into the end of yesterday and the start of this morning, which is Tuesday morning, that as of Monday evening, no viewer of this channel had received their $14 stimulus check on Direct Express card. That was a clear situation. Throughout the day, if you do receive your $14 stimulus check on your Direct Express card, drop in the comments or send me a DM. Also, we knew that viewers who use Chime and Cash App did receive their $14 third stimulus check on Friday or Saturday. Meantime, we also know that people who use H&R Block's Emerald card do report having received their stimulus check yesterday. And this includes people on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. We also know that not one, but three major big banks have said March 17th is your date. What is the significance of that March 17th date? Well, over this morning's broadcast, you're going to see me doing a series of subsequent reports. One is about how to track your stimulus check with the IRS tool or not, how to watch for it for Direct Express, and then you're also going to see me do a report about the March 17th date. But let me tell you what's the significance of that March 17th date right now. Some banks may clear the funds, meaning it's available for you to withdraw on the 17th. Some may say it's processing on the 17th. Some may show it's available on the 18th. Here's a message you need to understand. Some banks, when they receive funds direct deposit, simply just release them for availability for you to use without a processing logging. So for example, let's say you go to your website on the 17th, you may actually see in your bank's website on the 17th the funds there without any processing prompt on the 16th. Some banks simply just show the funds when they're available. They don't show a processing tab. This is really great news. But so far as we sit here today, we don't know the significance of the 17th date from the major big banks. Will they release the funds on the 17th? Will be processing on the 17th? Or will be available on the 18th or even the 16th? We simply don't know. Here's what you should know, is that on the 17th, if you are one of those people who shops at a big bank that has released this March 17th date, jump into the chat of this channel like I've been reminding viewers over the last 2 days and say, I shop at this bank. Today is March 17th. They said March 17th would be the stimulus check. Does anyone see it? Here's what you need to know. If someone says yes at 9 o'clock, but you don't see it at 9 o'clock, you may see it at 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Banks do it throughout the day. That's the first thing to know. The second thing to know is that if you hear someone say, yes, I got it on the 17th at your bank, and you go all the way to the 18th and you still don't see it pending, that might be an indication something has gone wrong. However, If you ask someone to say, do you see it on the 17th? I don't see it on the 17th. And you wait the whole day and you go into the 18th and both of you don't see it, then that would be good news because it means that it was not supposed to show on the 17th. It was supposed to show on the 18th. A lot of details across the board. But what it's important to understand is that reoccurring stimulus checks is being pushed in the next stimulus package. This is a lot of money, and that lot of money is really what the Federal Reserve is looking at. But is it too much money? A new report and a new concern is that the president may be spending money at a rate that is not sustainable. During his one term as president, Jimmy Carter added $300 billion to the debt. And he was dealing with inflation like this president is dealing with now. Ultimately, Jimmy Carter wasn't able to curb inflation during his term in office, but he added 9.3 million jobs, one of the largest increases of any president. The president yesterday said he will add 8 million jobs. Ultimately, the new report out today says that of Americans surveyed by a fund manager survey, the vast majority now say their greatest fear is not COVID, but inflation. 37% of respondents cited that they are absolutely worried about inflation, and that 35% of them are worried about, quote, a temper tantrum of massive surging of interest rates if the Federal Reserve pulls back on its monthly asset purchases. If the president does not get interest rates stable with massive spending and pushes for items like $3,600 a year for 18 years for children, but doesn't have a way to fix inflation, there could be concerns. Ultimately, we will see where those things happen. But also released this morning was a new monthly index showing that home builders are not doing well as rising interest rates and rising costs for lumber are now hitting across the board, signaling yet another economic number that's not particularly good for this president. The question is, when and where will the president address these concerns? I have more details as Mornings LA continues as it goes into its next two recordings. There's a lot of excitement across the board, but if you're just joining me, here's the recap. First, $14 stimulus checks will be landing in your bank account again today. Second, viewers on Chime Cash App, H&R Emerald Card have already received their stimulus check. Number 3, Direct Express card recipients had not received anything as of yesterday. Next, the president started the day with an incredible, great message that said, guess what? You're all going to get a stimulus check within 10 days of it becoming law last Thursday. This is including Direct Express, debit card, paper checks, and everyone else. Meantime, the president will be pushing and be pushed for reoccurring stimulus checks more today, as the third stimulus package is far from over. And I'll be monitoring for you throughout the day the developing details about the 10-year Treasury and the FOMC meeting. The 10-year Treasury is currently calm as we start a new day. As we go to the bottom of the hour, thank you for joining me. Next up is more about direct deposit of your stimulus check. I'll be tracking it with you as Mornings LA continues. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and also like this video. And stay with LA for more.